Hello there. So they're back. Insulate Britain doing their best to push their agenda by pissing everyone else off. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Yes, that Extinction Rebellion offshoot, Insulate Britain, is back. The legal framework that the Home Secretary has put in place and the sentences being meted out by judges, if any, are obviously no deterrent against people prepared to superglue their faces to the tarmac in order to stop the traffic. And even when they just sit there without adhering themselves to the highway, the police just stand there thumb up bum and mind in neutral, wondering if moving them on or arresting them will upset their super woke chief constable or police and crime commissioner. And still the poor old motorist finds themselves trapped in the vicinity of their vehicles, unable to leave the vicinity until the police have taken their time at their now glacial pace when dealing with these types, and only these types, of protest. Had that been a protest against the mandating of medical procedures for care homes and NHS workers, it would be batons and tasers all the way, superglue or no superglue. And when they are approached by an angry member of the public who just want to get on their way and not be imprisoned in that immediate locality, these Insulate Britain types look about as comprehending and responsive as a Del Boy Trotter latex doll. Not that I have any experience in that area of activity, you understand. Anyway, their activists have decided to block roads in 3 locations today after having a 10-day truce in their hostilities against people that actually have to go out to work to make a living. And there were 60 of these protesters. And I will ask the same question as I did in a previous video I did on this. Why are the Insulate Britain protesters not being arrested and prosecuted for the unlawful or false imprisonment of the drivers who are locked where they are by the selfish actions of these people? We've even had a repeat of a very upset person trying to get to hospital to see a seriously ill relative, but the Insulate Britain protesters apparently said no. It seems that these people believe they have the right to dictate when and where we can go. The drivers are powerless to act, and when the police arrive, some protesters superglue themselves to the road, further exacerbating the problem. Then there's an interminable wait for the specialist with the superglue dissolver to turn up, and very gently pries them away from the road without even cracking one of their fingernails for fear of a lawsuit, no doubt. Why can't they cut the tarmac out, leaving it attached to the protester, and throw them in a cell, while nature takes its course and sheds the glued skin, taking the tarmacadam with it? After all, they did do the gluing themselves, didn't they? And who are we to act against their wishes? And then fill in the resulting potholes overnight and charging the protesters for it. Unfortunately, I jest, as it probably interferes with one of their human rights or something. Now, I've got to say that I personally believe that some of these Insulate Britain activists would be quite happy to see irate members of the public take the law into their own hands and get violent, because they could then claim to be the victims, with the police forced to prosecute otherwise law-abiding motorists. I fervently hope that never occurs. The last thing we need is another set of self-identifying victims ruining this country. But the law is powerless to deal with them. In fact, it appears to be facilitating these protests. The Guardian reports that 124 of these protesters have been arrested 629 times, but none of them have been held on remand for more than a week. What's the plan here? The more people gluing themselves to our streets, the more people we'll take to the tube or something? Now, the Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, says that some protesters are being prosecuted for something he calls dangerous and self-defeating action along the M25, and added that they now face potential prison time. Only if the judges put them there, and I won't be holding my breath on that one. First-time offenders of good character, etc., all doing the right thing by the planet, etc. I do hope I'm proved comprehensively wrong on that, though. Anyway, it's reported that there have been 52 arrests today, and Grant Shapps has called them glued fools. One of them had apparently been arrested 14 times, while another claimed she was in agony as she was being unglued. Oh dear, how sad, never mind. But I have to wonder if some of them have been indulging in a bit of too much sniffing of the product prior to using the glue to get down to a bit of eco-bonding with a length of tarmac. And what's with these rucksacks they all carry? Is it full of food, water and superglue in case they're there for days or something? Maybe they're full of soybeans and pulses, imported bottled water and all manner of veggie stuff. Or maybe it's where they keep their brains while they're not using them during the protests. Anyway, the arrogance of these protesters is breathtaking. They just sit there knowing that no one will lift a finger against them. So I can understand how high the frustration levels must be inside those cars and lorry cabs as they just sit there blocking progress. So it's not so much Insulate Britain as Insult Britain. And just like always seems to happen in the UK justice system, the true victims, the motorists, get forgotten, while the perpetrators get all the attention and the soft velvet fist in the soft velvet glove from the police and the courts. And it seems to me that any potential aggressor against the UK would not need bombs and bullets. All they'd need is a few rubber dinghies and some superglue to bring this once great country crashing to its knees. And while eco-warriors are allowed to run rampant in the UK, trying their best to destroy our economy, countries like China, India and Germany just get on with buying coal and making stuff to sell. And I wonder where all those Insulate Britain rucksacks and high-vis jackets were made. China perhaps, and shipped over here in containers brought by ships using highly polluting bunker fuel perhaps. Or did they macrame them themselves? Now, if, as I suspect, the courts aren't going to give them any meaningful sentences, then what are we left with? More measly words from the likes of Patel and Shapps as they flail about powerlessly in the face of the soft legal system this country has produced over the last few decades. If these new injunctions and sentences don't do the business, then it proves they are no deterrent. The ball's in your court, government. If, and it's a big if you really want to stop this nonsense, then the punishment must be a real deterrent, not a badge of honour for these protesters to flash about at dinner parties. So what's your opinion on Insulate Britain? Please like and comment below.